I want to start today's news off with something that's near and dear to my heart. Art supplies. Army Painter has something new for us. Let's take a look. Okay, I'm loving the Wild Western vibe. Ah, yes. This is how I too paint. Out in the desert landscape. No palette or water around me. Just in the middle of the street. Oh. A challenger has arrived. What could this be? Well, he seems eager. Ooh, speed paint markers. Now, I've heard that these were in the works, but this is the first actual trailer that I've seen for them, and I am extremely excited because they look really cool. And also, if that bandolier is real, I want one. Do they sell that? Can I buy that? I want to be able to actually have a little sash around me that has all of my paints on them so that I can too paint wherever I go. Because honestly, that's kind of what they're selling me on in this, is I can go anywhere with these markers and my miniatures, and that's all I need. And frankly, I'm excited about that. That means that going to a game store and being able to go to a paint and take or just hang out and hobby with people there suddenly has become infinitely easier. Because if all you really need is to grab these markers, sick. Now, they're going to tell us a little bit more about them, so let's find out.
Is totally big enough for brushes.
I agree. It is big enough for brushes and markers.
Speed, you can feel. Speed paint markers are here. Developed with Deep Cut Studio with feedback from renowned miniature artist Roman Lapat, speed paint markers offer a bold new way to paint. Fast.
I'm honestly very excited about these. I know AK also has some markers for painting miniatures, and I'm curious how they are going to compare to these speed paint markers. So that might be an interesting comparison video I could do in the future.
I don't want to do this with a brush, because with a brush I always have to pick up paint and then find the right dilution. No, I just want to, hey, this works.
It's true. That is a big struggle, and I do think these markers could help with that. It also could help with doing really fine detail work, depending on how good those tips are and how long they last.
Make the life of every miniature painter easier.
No brush,
that's very true. It could make the life of every miniature painter easier.
And paint. Inside each
the color looks good. The coverage looks really nice.
Rich, flowing coverage, instant shadows and highlights, and a smooth finish that dries fast and streak-free.
And the fact that they were doing it on that cloak there, hold on, I want to go back and take a look at that. That was pretty impressive. Where's the cloak? There we go.
Smooth finish that dries.
It's not very streaky at all. And I don't think it dries streaky either. That's really cool.
Pigment flow across large surfaces or on the smallest details. This isn't a replacement for traditional brushes and paint. It's an expansion of your toolkit.
They love each other. Use all of the hobby tools.
Or a veteran painter looking to break routines, speed paint markers offer freedom,
honestly, what I'm most impressed by is how vibrant they are out of those markers. I guess it is just the pure color coming out, but it looks really good. And I am a fan of extremely vibrant colors.
They can focus on their armies basically, and not on what they have on the wet palette or something like that. It will save time for them.
Also, look how easy that was amazing. Look how easy he was able to just very simply outline that trim. So good. And that's what I'm more interested in using it for, actually. Doing this kind of work where you're doing little detail patterns or spillage or just any kind of decorative element that requires a bit more finesse. I imagine the marker might give us all more control.
Cannot imagine right now. So, and I think with this on our hands, I think the whole miniature painting thing will just grow and explode even more.
We can only hope. I want more people painting miniatures, so any tool that's out there that can make it easier for people to get into it, I'm hyped about.
Colors. And the starter set featuring 10 speed paint markers, including 9 rich acrylics and 1 bold metallic. But this is just the beginning. More colors and sets are coming.
Nice. So they're going to expand. I assume they're going to make all of the speed paint colors in marker form at some point.
Go where the hobby takes you. To order yours or learn more about speed paint markers and the rest of our industry-leading, award-winning paints and accessories, or to find a local retailer near you, visit thearmypainter.com.
And that is what we have from the Army Painter. I personally am actually extremely excited about these. Markers are definitely something that I have been utilizing, or really pens is something that I've been utilizing in my miniature painting career for quite a while, especially mostly for dotting I's and that kind of thing. But being able to do a full miniature with a marker sounds genuinely brilliant. My one actual concern, and I have this exact same concern for the AK markers, and it comes down to these nylon tips that they have. Like right now, because all of these are very fresh in this video that they're showing us, they look immaculate. They're great. But I've used nylon tips on other markers in the past, specifically with my Copics and other cheaper markers as well, and they do over time fray. And that's just using the Copics on either paper or like a canvas, which isn't super textured and doesn't tend to have sharp edges like a 3D miniature might. So my only actual real concern for these markers as a like long-term product is, are they going to sell replacement tips? How easy is it going to be to replace those tips? And how long do they actually last from fresh to completely worn out? Because I'm worried that if on like a very sharp edge miniature, something Chaos, for example, that has a lot of spikes or hard edges, not something rounded like the skeleton we're seeing on screen here, is that going to impact the length of the marker's tip really long term? Is it going to wear it out really fast? That's my one question. Maybe I'll do some experimenting with it to find out. I'm definitely going to be trying to pick these up in the future once they are released. They are not currently available. And I do find it interesting that they're doing an intro set with only 3 colors. Like, I get people might want to test these and play around with them, and I do think an intro set is good. But honestly, if I were Army Painter, I would have scrapped one of these other colors or maybe made it 4 markers, because I think putting a metallic in this intro set is extremely valuable for somebody who is genuinely skeptical of these products, wants to test them, because I imagine the metallic paint is going to flow a bit differently through that tip than the standard acrylic paints of the speed paint line. Just because having worked with metallic paint pens in the past versus non-metallic paint pens, they do function slightly differently. There is a different consistency to the flow. And so I think for an intro set, being able to test that would be very cool. But honestly, that's my main criticism. Otherwise, I'm extremely excited for these, and I'll probably be picking up the starter set to give it a try. Hey guys, it's just me and Shay here jumping into the video to remind you to hit that subscribe button, as well as to smash that like button if you've been enjoying the content with us today, because I really like having Shay on, and if you want to see her come back, you should definitely subscribe. Now, if you want even more content with us, you can check the links below. We have links to both our safe for work content as well as our spicier content. So there's plenty for you to explore. Now, let's go ahead and get back to the video. Moving right along, let's talk Warhammer, because we got some fun reveals specifically for the Necrons in the form of a brand new Nightbringer. And oh my gosh, this mini looks spectacular. Like, we're gonna talk about it later as we look at a full like comparison between this new one and the old one, but holy shit, the glow up that this boy has gotten. He looks bloody spectacular. Honestly, I love the energy in the entire model. He just looks absolutely stunning. So let's pop over to the Warhammer community article. Look at him. Look at the Nightbringer. Honestly, the paint job that they chose for him, spectacular. I love everything that they have done with all this detail down here. But I want to bring us up because this is what our boy used to look like. This little short man who is just standing on a little Necron thing here. He is huge now. He's the same size as the Void Dragon, which is really cool to see and probably not unexpected for a lot of Necron players as well as the rest of the community. You know, when the Void Dragon got his big glow up and went to a much larger base, it's to be expected that the Nightbringer would also be on the same size base. I really like how they're kind of tying the two together with a little bit of the lightning at his base. And then it goes into, you know, that classic Necron like digital effect that they're doing. And then he just goes into what I classically think of as the Nightbringer, which is a scythe wielding, hooded, just monstrosity. And he looks amazing. Also, he looks so much scarier. Like, this one was cool, don't get me wrong. I think I actually have this.
We do.
Okay, I thought we did. I have this old one. That might be a fun comparison to, like, paint both in a video or something, all in the Chaos Cultist Necron color scheme, which I think this guy's going to look super rad, and I already have some fun ideas on how I might do that. So very excited if that ends up happening. But then painting the other one, like the smaller one in the same style, would also kind of be cool, just to see like, how would I have done it on the little guy and how do I do it on the big guy now? So I'm really excited about this model. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts down below. Sticking with 40k, but moving over to Kill Team, let's take a look at what GW has for us coming next. Ooh, some beautiful Night Lords. They look amazing. These are entirely new sculpts, not only for the Night Lords, but also for the Sisters of Battle, which I just think is really cool. I feel like Sisters haven't gotten any big updates since their last like big relaunch. So seeing some brand new models for them is spectacular, but honestly, the Night Lords are glorious. Let's take a look at them in a bit more detail as we can here. First, we look at the Sisters of Battle. They do look spectacular. I like how they are very reminiscent of just the classic basic Sisters, but they look way fancier, as they should, because they're supposed to have some high-end equipment, which is really neat to see. And honestly, the sculpts are really rad. They've got some good energy. Like, I love them stomping through things. They look like they're in heavy armor, as they should be, and it just feels right for the Sisters. I think this vibe really, really works. But the models that I'm most interested in, and I think a lot of people are probably going to be most interested in, no offense to the Sisters of Battle fans out there, are these beautiful Night Lords. Because frankly, we just don't get a lot of Night Lords that often. Now, my one criticism, as I stare GW in the eyes, even though I know they probably don't watch my content, why does none of these boys have bat helmets? Like, you could have given at least one dude a bat helmet. Like, not a single bro has wings on his helm. I do appreciate the beak helm here. Don't get me wrong. And this Curse Claw, he's probably my favorite. I love the wings. Like, you're obviously still going with the bat motif, so give one of them, a single one, a winged helmet. That's my only complaint. Otherwise, I absolutely love all of these models. I think they look glorious. Can't wait to get my hands on them and put some paint on them. This is also coming with 2 new boards and a whole bunch of other things. Basically everything you need to get started with Kill Team. Now, the one thing that I want to call out is that this is not the next Kill Team box set in the lineup. We actually are still waiting on Tomb World, which has not, I think, had an official announcement date yet. So we have that in between this and Shadowhunt. We have that before Shadowhunt, which is the current box set. We also have this indicator that there might be something else in between that. So maybe a smaller box set, but this is a really like early preview. It kind of seems like, I feel like we don't normally get like this far in advance. Like, hey, this is what's coming months from now. It might be because things have leaked. I know a lot of things recently leaked, including the Dawn of War 4 announcement. So maybe that's why they're announcing it so much in between and they have this weird gap. But I thought it was kind of interesting, and I do want to call out that Tomb World hasn't released yet. So if you're waiting for your, I believe it is the Death Watch versus the Necrons, then that's coming, and then Shadowhunt. But there might be something in between. So who knows? We'll have to keep our eyes on it. Speaking of Dawn of War, let's go ahead and watch the trailer for the Dawn of War remaster, or I guess they're calling it the Definitive Edition. And as somebody who has been playing the Definitive Edition, I have to say, it is worth every penny. And if you are somebody who, like me, has owned Dawn of War prior to this, then I believe on GOG and Steam, you can get the same deal where I believe it's about $19.99 to buy it new, which again is completely worth it because the pathing fixes alone are spectacular. Like, it just makes the gameplay so much smoother, just so much more enjoyable, and all of the visual updates are spectacular. I'm currently in the middle of my Winter Assault campaign, and I love how Stern looks. I had just started the Winter Assault campaign prior to this being announced. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna stop that, wait for this to come out, and I'll just restart it after I play through the base game again, which I've already done. You can catch that as video on demand on the channel if you want to watch it. Oh my god. So like comparing Stern to like modern Stern, the glow up is beautiful, and I just love everything about it. Like, it has been so fun. I am getting my ass kicked sometimes, but it is so enjoyable, and I just cannot speak highly enough about the Dawn of War Definitive Edition. So if you haven't picked it up for yourself, I definitely recommend it. Like, just watching this trailer, like, it still gets me hyped. I'm literally playing it right now, but I'm still so hyped. I also really want to be the Necrons later on, because holy shit, they are kicking my butt right now. Like, that's the point where I'm at in the Winter Assault campaign, is where the Necrons first arrive, with the, like, 6 monoliths. I just came off a stream where that's what I was doing, and I died many times because monoliths are tough as balls, and oh my god, I'm going to beat it though tomorrow, and I'm very, very excited for that. So, but I'm really, really can't encourage you enough to pick up the Definitive Edition. Check it out for sure. We're going to move away from Warhammer and focus on some things that got announced and or previewed and or maybe early released but aren't actually available in stores quite yet at GenCon. And this one is one that I'm extremely excited about. It is a combination of Memoir 44 mixed with Star Wars. Let's watch. Battle of Hoth. What is Memoir 44? And honestly, as we go through this ad featuring the game, one, the miniatures look spectacular. I think they genuinely look great, and I can't wait to paint them up and actually make them look super cool. Also, it feels exactly like Memoir 44. I have played Memoir 44 myself I think once, and I loved it. Like, I love these types of short form, crunchy, tabletop board game style war games rather than doing like a full big skirmish game or that kind of thing. Although technically I think you could argue that Memoir 44 would count kind of as a skirmish game now that I think about it. But I wanted to focus a little bit more on the game and everything that's coming in it, because the miniatures really have me hyped. The way that this board lays out and just seeing everything in it as it looks in this image also has me extremely excited, because as I said, I really like Memoir 44. So seeing this tied with Star Wars, which I'm also a massive fan of, I wish, like, it's cool that this is Hoth and it totally works. I hope that this sells well and we get other battles as Memoir 44 boards for other Star Wars themes, because like, I'd love to see some stuff from Clone Wars. Like, I'm just throwing that out there. I'd love to see something from Clone Wars. That's where my heart really lies with Star Wars. And so this is very cool, but I want something Clone Wars. Now, if you are interested in this yourself and you weren't at GenCon where they were doing an early release of it, then it becomes available on August 29th, and you can pick it up for $59.99 USD or your regional equivalent. I'm definitely going to be looking into this one because I just think it's really cool. I love the concept. I love the game that it's based on, and I love the IP that it's using as a thematic backdrop. So this is definitely one I'm going to be picking up. The next board game we're going to look at is one that's out and you can grab at your local game store today. And this one also is very intriguing to me, because what we're looking at here is a new Legacy edition of a Lord of the Rings game. And this is from the grandpappy of Legacy games himself, Matt Leacock. And if you're not familiar with Matt Leacock, he is basically the dude that created the Legacy format. He did the original Pandemic Legacy, and he's had his hand in a lot of the other Legacy games out there, especially if you're picking them up from Z-Man Games. He has I think a contract with them or something. But this is supposed to be his most complex Legacy game yet, which is intriguing because a lot of the Pandemic Legacy games, especially as you advance into the year 0 and that kind of thing, is supposed to be pretty complex already. So I'm like, what more has he done? How crazy has this gotten? So this is currently available. You can pick it up. It's through Asmodee or I think they have like, I know there's an Asmodee Canada. I don't know if they have like a European branch, but I'm sure that they do. Wherever your regional equivalent is, you can get this, and it's $79.99 USD or your regional equivalent. I think it looks amazing, and one of my favorite things is the fact that we actually get to use the Eye of Sauron and that tower as your dice tower. I just think that's a fun way to incorporate like this aesthetic and really just make the game feel even more just in world, and got that like perfect vibe for Lord of the Rings. I don't know if this is one that I'll ultimately pick up as much as I do want to sort of explore a new Matt Leacock game, but it definitely has me intrigued, and I'd love to hear your thoughts down about it in the comments below. Board games, not really your jam? Don't worry, I've got some RPG news for you as well. Paizo has a new edition of Starfinder available. Let's watch the ad. I really like the vibe of Starfinder, even though I have never actually played it. I have played Pathfinder 2nd Edition, so I am familiar with that system and what Paizo has kind of moved into. And as we'll see as we go into this preview, they're actually compatible with each other, which I think is really, really exciting. Like, imagine being able to take your Pathfinder characters into space suddenly and basically have a Spelljammer's campaign. And it should just simultaneously work because they're supposed to be compatible. I also think that the introductory of these like initial characters as you play through is kind of fun. These are going to be your like learning characters as you like, if you buy the beginner starter set. They always put little like pre-built characters in there, and I actually think all of these are very fun, although they're like, what they are feels extremely try-hard, and I kind of love it. Also, the cat is my favorite. He's so obnoxious and I kind of love him. Also, thick. Can we just say that that girl is thick and I love it. Also, he's very cool. I think actually, like, I like the cat because he's annoying, but my actual favorite is the bug guy. Oh, I just realized she has purple hair. That's also probably why I like her. Perfect. But going back to Starfinder, never played the first edition. I sold a lot of it at the board game store that I used to work at because when it first released, I was still working there. So we actually did a pretty big push for it. I love the leather-bound special edition cover. They always do that, Paizo, and I think, honestly, D&D does the same thing. They just don't do leather-bound versions. But I love that Paizo actually does the leather-bound.
What would you like to do?
These are the pre-built characters that you can use if you're running the starter campaign, which again, I really just, I love those kinds of things. They're great introductories.
RPG from Paizo Incorporated. Choose from 6 classes.
Oh, okay, here they give the descriptions.
Mystic, the charismatic envoy, the stealthy operative, the heavy-hitting soldier, the cosmic-powered Solarian, and the paradoxical witch warper. Whether you're looking for
it's so good. I just love the names that they gave them. Or the titles, I suppose.
Journey through the cosmos.
Just realized that was a little mouse with a helmet on. That's so cute.
City crawl, or delve into the horrors of deep space. Starfinder 2nd Edition is the perfect system and setting for any science fantasy campaign.
I wonder how easy it would be to run a 40k-esque themed campaign in Starfinder. I've never really looked into that because it doesn't feel grimdark enough, but I bet you could make it grimdark with the right... Yeah, I was gonna say, like, with the right GM, you probably could make it work pretty well. Because then you could just use Warhammer miniatures and, like, run a really cool campaign. Oh, yes! This is what I love.
Time to face intergalactic forces.
I like that you can actually interweave Pathfinder 2nd Edition with Starfinder 2nd Edition, and they will mechanically function together so that you can combine them, do fun things in your campaign, take your Pathfinder characters into space, bring your space boys down to Earth. Like, I just think I don't know how many people are actually going to do that, but I love the idea of it. I love the idea of giving people the freedom to have that flexibility without necessarily needing to rely on like a specific campaign book. So if you're interested in Starfinder 2nd Edition, it is currently available. You can get it through Paizo's website or probably through your friendly local game stores, whichever works easiest for you. Let me know, have you played Starfinder before? Are you excited for the 2nd edition? And how do you feel about it being able to combine with Pathfinder 2nd edition? Last but not least, we have news from Magic. I hope you guys aren't too upset with the Universes Beyond because we've got another one coming, and this time it's one from Nickelodeon. If you haven't guessed already, we're looking at Avatar, The Last Airbender. And honestly, I have really mixed feelings about this
That's
because
your favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie, right?
it's definitely my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie for sure. Definitely. Like, I think the cards actually look pretty good, and we're going to look through more than what they're going to show us in this little preview here in just a moment. But I think they look great, especially in comparison.
Oh, it's Avatar Ong! I love Avatar Ong!
Yes, Ong!
Get a glimpse of Aang's full potential with show.
See, like,
creator
oh my
Ryan
god, that art
Knizko's
looks
raised
sick.
foil
I really
Avatar
love the
Aang
full art
card.
versions. And I actually think they've done a really
While
good
Aang's
job with a
bending
lot of the
skills are
cards.
great,
One of the
you
things
need
that
the
I
whole game
was kind
to
of
save the
critical
world.
of when I opened some Spider-Man packs recently is the fact that
And Team Avatar
honestly,
isn't complete
the art
without
was kind of
Appa,
boring. There
Steadfast
wasn't a lot of
Guardian,
energy in
and
any of
Momo,
them,
Friendly
and
Flyer.
while I do have some criticism of
Friend
a
them
few
and
of the
other
cards in
hybrid
this
creatures
set,
along the way.
overall, I think they have a lot more just capturing
iconic
the
Avatar
vibe
scenes
of
in
the
the set,
OG
like
series a
Sokka's
lot
haiku.
better. And I think what it comes down to with the Spider-Man
Pivotal
cards in
moments
specific is
define
I wish they had gone with a more comic
Faded
book style,
firepower asks who
just
you
across
are.
the board in all of their artists. Like if they had gone to everybody who was like, hey, you're gonna be working on the
What kind of
Spider-Man
bender you
stuff,
want to be.
could you make it really comic book style? Like honestly, if they had done
Avatar,
some
The
in
Last
like pure
Airbender
just black
lore,
and white
including
to go
cards
for like a
like The
classic
Rise of
like
Sozin,
Silver Age or
Firelord
like
Sozin.
Gold Age like comic book
Find
style,
your people.
I think that could have been really fun. I love this card! The Avatar Enthusiast is probably
Become
my
the
favorite card. We'll
Avatar.
look at that again in a moment. Because
Discover
like I said,
your
it's part
destiny.
of all of the cards that we're going to look
And
at.
don't
But I
forget
think
to
they
hit
did
up
a
your
pretty good
favorite
job. Also, the
local
cabbage
vendors.
merchant. Excellent. Absolutely excellent. And they're
More
even
of
using him on the
Magic
box.
the
I love
Gathering,
that.
Avatar, The Last Airbender. Tuesday, October 28th on the debut stream. Play me out, Hotman.
Oh my goodness. All right, so that is the preview. Let's take a look at some more of the cards because I actually think these look pretty rad. And as I mentioned, I think the art, I just think they did a better job on these than I did with Spider-Man. And I feel bad saying that because my mentor was a Spider-Man artist. Like in theory, you would think I would love it, but like I just wasn't thrilled by what I was seeing. But here, I really like what I'm seeing. This one in general, the Avatar Enthusiast is just what I love. Okay, it's what I actually love, and because I can break it down a little further, is I was afraid when we were getting when I saw this initial announcement about the Avatar Universes Beyond collab with Magic. I was like, oh, I really hope they don't just like get really lazy and kind of half-ass screenshot some of these scenes. And while they are definitely taking scenes from the series, I think they gave the artists enough freedom to really be a bit more interpretive with it. And I think the energy in like the Avatar Enthusiasts, the Zhang Deserters, like even Master Pindao, sorry, God, I'm stumbling on all of these names. Like the energy behind it, the motion, the like flare of just even the sky looks amazing. The lighting effects look great. And honestly, lighting is something I don't think they played with as much as I recall in the Spider-Man set. And maybe that's something they could have done to make it better. But I just think they did such a better job here. Also, this Rabaru troop is so cute. Momo, I feel like, is like the laziest one so far in regards to the art. But it's fine. He's kind of a derp character anyway, so it still works. But overall, why aren't you loading? Let me refresh the page and see if they load after that. The images just stopped loading. Okay, there we go. But this version of Momo, where it's the slightly more artistic, like meant to be sort of a wall scroll type thing, love that. Especially the Appa. The Appa looks amazing. Although the iceberg in this full art form also looks great. Like generally, I just love the color palettes here more. I love the energy more. This allied teamwork card looks so beautiful. So I just think it looks like a fun set. I'm probably gonna see if. I don't think it's likely. I'm sure it's not going to be as insane as the Final Fantasy one, but I just feel like with some of these potentially really popular Universes Beyond, trying to go to a pre-release might be insane. But it would be cool to potentially go to one, and if you yourself are interested in participating in the pre-release for this particular set, the Magic the Gathering, Universes Beyond, Avatar the Airbender set, then that is going to be happening on November 14th, where the set itself is officially due out on November 21st. So that's when it's coming out. If you like these cards, if you're interested in Avatar, or you just are a big Avatar fan and maybe you want to collect everything Avatar possible, you might want to get your hands on these. And as I said, the pre-release is happening on the 14th of November. I might try to go to mine, but I find that sometimes they're a little difficult to get space in. So we'll see what happens. But that is going to be it for today in the hobby news. Let me know what you thought of any of the news stories that we covered today. I am in particular quite excited for the speed paint markers. I do want to get my hands on those as soon as possible so that I can give them a try and just see how well they work, because If it allows freehand to become that much simpler, because I'll have that much more control because I'm using a marker instead of a brush, which I just feel more comfortable with, I'm really excited about that. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. And before I head out, I want to give a final thank you, not only to my Patreons, but also my YouTube members. Without your guys' support, we wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you all very, very much for all of your support. I've been Angela, and have a wonderful hobby night, everybody.